So, I am an adventurous beginner in knitting. I started knitting a little bit more than a year ago, and I want to try steeking for my very first time. I have seen the Game of Wool reality contest, and I have seen episode 1 where they asked the participant to make a Fair Isle vest with chunky yarn, and one of the contestants, Gordon, uses steeking to make the armholes. If you don't know, steeking is a way of cutting with a scissor your yarn in order to open holes for armholes, for your neck, for a pocket. And that first episode was, I think, the worst of them all, and the one that received the most backlash for their definition of Fair Isle, which was wrong, and for the way they addressed the steeking, which is a common practice, and they were all very shocked. But anyway, let's stop talking about the Game of Wool and let's start thinking about the project I'm making. I am making the Loon Sweater with pigeons. And me and my friend designed the chart for the pigeons following CM Knits exclusive queer birds chart that they designed for the KA-LOON, that's called the KA-LOON, since this is the Loon Sweater. So this is a knit-along organized by knitthem, which is a gorgeous website and social media account run by trans and gender non-conforming people for gender non-conforming knitters. And it's just a very special place, dear to me since I'm non-binary. And yes, I decided to join in the fun for this, and I already had some yarn at home, so I'm using this from my stash. And yesterday evening I just finished the ribbing at the bottom, and I think I made it a little bit too short. I followed the instruction and they say stop at this measure for a boxy fit, and I did stop, so I do believe this is boxy on me. Like it stops over here while my waist is over here, so I might have to stretch it a bit during blocking, but that's for another video. And this was my 4th try at colorwork and my 2nd project with colorwork. I previously tried making some socks in a different video, and I frogged them and restarted them 3 times before I was okay with the floats management. And just to show you, these are the floats inside. And I think I did a pretty good job. I definitely got better row after row. So like the head of the pigeons are a bit tighter, while on the bottom, on the legs of the pigeon, I think I managed it a little bit better. And I learned ladderback with this pattern, which is just advised, not necessary, but I did some ladderback for the floats on the back of some of the stitches. So yeah, I just love making patterns and learning new things as I make them. And so for this pattern in particular, it is worked flat. You work the back side first, and then you pick up the stitches for the shoulders, and then you work the front part with the color work, worked flat, and then you join in the round under the armhole to make the torso, the bust part. And let's say I did not want to work flat the color work, since I'm not a very experienced color work knitter. I wanted to work it in the round, and so I decided to join in the round just after the shoulder. So yeah, I did the German short rows for the back. I picked up the stitches for the 2 shoulders, and I joined in the round and worked in the round the whole torso, the whole bust of this sweater. This means I did my color work in the round. And what I did was I casted some stitches on the armhole, on what will be the armhole. And then in the color work, I made some lines to tell me where the steeking part is going to be. And then I close them off before the bust, the torso, this part of your body. So yeah, I watched some videos about sticking, and what they say is you should cast between 3 and 10 stitches, with 5 and 7 being the most advised numbers. And I casted on 5 because, I don't know, it felt okay in my mind, 5 stitches. And I did the lines to better manage the floats inside this, but I actually, from other videos I saw, they actually prefer to do checkers. So every time you work the next row, you change the color of the colors you're working, so it's gonna be checkered in the sense that the lines alternate. Am I making any sense? Anyway, maybe I'll put a picture over here of what I'm meaning. Anyway, I think as a beginner I would have worked better with 7 stitches, but it's too late for that, so we're gonna stick with 5 stitches. And the thing is, I'm gonna try 4 methods of closing the edge of your hole before sticking it. I'm gonna try sewing by hand, sewing by machine, crochet and felting. I'm gonna time myself while I make every of these 4 methods, and I'm also gonna tell you, as a complete beginner, what worked best for me. And just one more disclaimer before I start. Sticking is better done with 100% wool, preferably wool that does felt. You can stick whatever material you are working with. I also saw some video about sticking cotton. You just have to be a little more careful, since the cotton will be more slippery, let's say. And the material I am working with is a mesh of wool and yak. So I think it will felt a bit, because it's a little bit, you know, when the yarn is, it sticks to itself or to the yarn ball or skein while you're trying to pull it to work it. Yeah, it does that, so I think I will be pretty much okay. But we're gonna see. Yeah, so let's start with the first method and move on from there. So for the first method, I'm gonna try hand sewing, and I know basics of sewing and I know embroidery, so it's nothing more than a back stitch, just done between the rows. So I fortunately have a contrasting yarn that is the same material of my sweater. I think this will help with the felting thing, so the material is gonna stick together a little bit better. If you don't have the same material in a contrasting color, you can use another kind of wool that felts or something sticky, as I said. So by any means, no cotton, no silk, nothing that it soft and slippery. Yeah, so I'm gonna take a bunch of this red yarn and I am gonna try to close off one of the edge of my armholes. I have 2 armholes and 4 edges, so I'm gonna do one method for each edge. I have seen as an advice to do a running stitch before you make your stitch, to just kind of tell you precisely the line you're going to follow, as since the running stitch is a little bit more quicker to do. You can do the running stitch and then just a stitch on the right or on the left. From that you can make your backstitch. But I'm gonna go for a more of an unconventional method that I am just inventing right now, and I have not seen it anywhere, so I hope it works. Since I'm used to work with fabrics that can undo themselves quite a lot, and to stop this while I work them, I use some tape. I am going to tape the farthest line from my sticking area, and I'm gonna have the tape follow the stitches, so then when I'm making my handmade backstitch, yeah, I'm just gonna follow one stitch apart from the tape. So what I want to do is basically work between my stitches, so on the little rows that can be seen when you pull apart your stitches, and I am gonna make a backstitch in here. So since this is my first one, I'm just a little bit more scared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a little bit further, but I'm gonna take that into account. And so I just wanna start with this one. But first I'm gonna make this start. So first side done. You can't almost see it, but there's some red inside the stitches, and it took me 4 minutes and 42 seconds, so less than 5 minutes to make one side. And let's see, my initial thoughts are, I don't know how much should I pull the thread. I mean, should they be very tight stitches to just like hold in place the yarn? Or can they be a little bit more relaxed stitches so I can make them more quickly? I think I just adjusted my tension as I went, and it's a bit more difficult to pick up the tiny ladder between the stitches when you are in the colorwork part, because you are gonna have double the floats or more floats. It depends on how many colors you have in your color area, and so you're gonna have more ladders. So I think I did one mistake, and I didn't pick up a single ladder just in the beginning of my colorwork, and I'm gonna leave it at there because I wanna see how it acts and how it reacts when I'm gonna cut it. And since making one mistake as a beginner is fairly common, I will say, I'm gonna leave it there, knowing it's there, and we'll see. But yeah, just 5 minutes for the first side. Now I'm gonna make the one beside it, and I'm gonna use a sewing machine. it doesn't have its cover on because I am making a patchwork one. So I do not leave my machine uncovered to take it dust, just to disclaimer. The sewing machine too does concern me a little bit because, again, I don't know if the stitches should be really close together or farther apart. I'm gonna go for a medium length of like 2.5, which is the preset when I turn on my machine. And I have read that it can get a little bit finicky with the dogs of your machine. When you put the knitwear in, they can catch in the floats and it can become a bit messy, and I just really hope it's not gonna happen to me. But I wanna try all the methods, so this is one of the methods and I'm gonna try it. And if it does pick up the floats, I'm just gonna stop midway. Let's hope not. I have some green inside my machine and I think I'm gonna leave it green. It's not really a contrasting color, but I'm gonna make do. So with the sewing machine, it took me 1 minute and 57 seconds, so 2 minutes. And this time consider also putting it under the needle and pulling it out, which was not incredibly easy, but it also did not get stuck in the dogs under the needle, and it did not pull any thread that I know of. I think my opinion on this is it was a little bit more difficult to follow the line of the stitches because the tape, it's alright, but it does move a little bit. So when you are hand stitching, it is a little bit more comfier than when you are sewing with a machine. I think sewing with a machine would have been better if I had traced my line before with a running stitch in a contrasting color. But I'm not too sad about it. One thing I will say, it's fairly more elastic than I thought it would be, so I can still pull a little bit the stitches, not too much, while with the back stitch it's still very, very elastic, but it does seem okay. Let me show you. I stumbled a bit over here, so I moved over the stitches and not inside the row between the two stitches, but it's still away from the center of the sticking, so I think it will still be okay. Pretty invisible since the green thread, but yeah, it's over here. Can you see it? Now onto the other armhole. I'm gonna tape it again since it's quick and then try the last two methods. I think I can reuse the tape from these sides. It's a little bit less sticky. Maybe I can't reuse it. No, maybe it's alright. So for my third method, I'm gonna use a crochet hook and the same contrasting yarn from before, and I am gonna crochet a line of single stitches, again, furthest from the point, the center point where I will stick, and so it's just gonna hold the yarn together. So, I don't know how I feel about this. This took me 5 minutes and 31 seconds, which is the longest for now. And it did use me more yarn, more thread than the other methods by far, the contrasting colored yarn. And since my tension with a crochet hook is different from my tension with knitting, it did came out a little bit like an arch, like it doesn't feel as flat as the others, but it is the most visible. I was thinking, while I was making it, I was thinking maybe I shall pick up one ladder every two, but then I thought, if I do that, then the one I do not pick up is gonna unravel when I stick. So I did one single crochet for each ladder, and I did all the ladder for this one, so I think no mistakes were made. And may I say, it does look pretty cute from the side because the crochet stitches align with the knitted stitches, so it's not that bad. It does look pretty firm. We'll see. And as for the fourth method, it's gonna be the wildest one for me, because I'm gonna needle felt the row of the stitches like near the stick, near the place where I'm gonna cut. So I really hope this yarn felts. done, I think. I've been at it for 5 minutes and 12 seconds, which isn't a lot, but it's kind of difficult to know when you are done, because you wouldn't mind just keep picking at it. And I finished, I picked the whole column, but I don't know if I picked like all the stitches. So I think it's a little bit difficult to know if you have felt all the way through. I do have this lovely fuzz on the back side that tells me I worked all the column. But yeah, it does felt, which is a win. In my mind, felting can be like the most secure way to stop the yarn from unraveling, since you are literally breaking the material of the yarn and like reshaping it. Since it won't be yarn anymore, it will be wool, and so it's not gonna unravel because it's not a thread. But for some weird way, when I see this, I don't think, yes, a secure end. I don't know. It's a first, let's say that. It is the method that I had the most fun doing. I don't know if I would have fun doing it 4 times, because it is also the most straining on the body. I tend to needle felt with a lot of passion and strength in my arm, and so after doing just this little piece, I feel tired. But anyway, here we have 4 different methods of closing the sides, and I'm gonna show you the insides of each one too. And then it's time for actually sticking, so for cutting the yarn. So on this side we have the hand sewn back stitch and the machine sewn back stitch, and inside we have this situation. So this is the hand sewn. You can see I think I did a little bit wrong over here, and this is the machine. And let me tell you, the machine seems to actually hold the floats really, really, really well. And on the other side we have the single crochet on this side and the felted stitches on this other one. And inside we have the single crochet, and then we have the felted area. So for steeking, I am gonna cut in the center of the center stitch. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches that I did. I did my running stitch over here, my machine stitch over here. So I have 1 machine, 1, 2, 3, hand stitch 1. And in these 3, I am gonna cut in the right center of the most center stitch. So I'm gonna take one of my embroidery scissors, and I'm gonna choose one that is really, really sharp. I think sticking scissors, as you might call them, are short pointed, so you have more control of what you are cutting. Ooh, I'm excited. Oh my god. I think the most common tip I have seen for sticking is to just go slow. Nobody is running behind you, so just take it 1 stitch at a time, maybe 2, 3 at most, so you have a very precise control of what you're doing with your scissor, and you are not unraveling too much of the yarn while you cut, since, well, it will unravel a little bit. So far, so good. I think I unraveled like 15 rows of stitches, and the hand sewn stitch is holding up pretty well as the machine one. So the stitches I'm unraveling are coming out and they are coming loose, but the floats are well secured, dare I say. And yeah, I'm doing great. I thought I would sweat more in this part of the video. I just feel like I held my breath through the way to the last cut, and I have an armhole now. Okay, okay. So it's curling up quite a bit, which is not too bad. I think it will help hold the stitches better. And yeah, so far nothing is unraveling too badly on either side of the two armholes. And well, I still have to see how they will weather time, and I think I will also need to pick up stitches, so I'll see how that goes for the armholes, for the sleeves, yeah. But yeah, let's try the other side. So since with felting it was a little bit more difficult to just keep the felting to a single row, I actually felted like one and a half of the sides, trying to keep myself between the center and trying to keep this one as safe as possible. So I have to cut this one while this and this are a little bit felted. I think some felting, like some pulling of the needle, went through this one too, as well as the other ones, but I think it's pretty normal and I can just cut through it, and on the back side it's gonna hold the stitches. Okay, let's watch all the armholes. So here we have the hand sewn one, which is, as you see, the yarn is coming apart, but it's not unraveling. Yeah. On this side we have the machine knit one, very, very firm. On the other side, the single crochet, and the felted size, which actually, yeah, it holds incredibly well. I think I would have loved to have 7 stitches instead of 5, just to have that one single stitch close to the steeking line, so the place where I cut. That would have given me a little bit more safety. Maybe just in my heart, I don't know, but since it was my first time, especially the one done with crochet, I think the crochet stitches are just one stitch from the cutting line. So somehow I did this, and now I have 2 very nice armholes. This is now a vest that I could wear. But yeah, I think I'm gonna pick up the stitches and I will make the sleeves, and then I will update on what happens on the inside of this. Oh my god, I'm finished. Woohoo! So one thing I have not tell you yet is that I did not swatch for this weather. And I don't regret I did not, because when I started it I was in a in preparation for other events, so I was in a kind of busy time of my life. But now not swatching made me realize that this weather, the body of this weather, it's way bigger because my tension is very loose. And so I think it suits me a little bit too oversizey. Hey. All right, so I love a folded collar like this. Ooh, I love this. I love the pigeon pattern. I love the sweater length. The pattern said stop at something centimeters, and I went far longer than that. Like, when it said stopped, I tried it on and it was on my elbow. This is unblocked, by the way. So it now fits me, the arm size, and even if I put my hand up high, it just rolls down a little bit. But I think in blocking, it will grow some centimeters. I could not work more rows because this is everything I have left of the yarn I bought. So I will say I kind of won a chicken yarn game. Yesterday when I was doing the collar and this was all the blue I had left, I was like... But so, yeah, I love how it fits me. I think the colors look great together. The pigeon chart is so lovely. I think you will have to go to my Ravelry page to see the pictures of the finished block sweater. And in there, of course, you can find all my other projects and all the details about this project, as well as all the notes I took while making it. So just, if you're interested about any other of the modification I made for this sweater, just check out my Ravelry. Yeah. But what about the sticking? I mean, this is a sticking video, isn't it? So, sticking wise, I twisted and turned and worked the hell out of these sleeves. The inside of the sweater has seen a lot. It holds extremely well and extremely firmly in all of the four sides. Let me show them to you all. So, this is the hand knit side. This is the machine knit side. Over here we have the crochet, single crochet line. And last but not least, the felted side. So I have to say I am pretty stoked about sticking. Yeah, I did not think it would be this easy, or alas, this quick as a process, and this, well, firm in all of its different ways of doing it. And I think now that I did it, I do have some tips, and also, just to finish off the video, how to manage the sticked sides of the sweater inside of your sweater. So, my tips are, you should do the technique that you feel more comfortable with and that you have the experience or the tools at home. I will say I loved the felting technique, but I do know not everybody has felting material at home. So you shall not buy felting materials just for this technique, just for sticking. You can stick with your needle or your sewing machine or your crochet. I hope in seeing them for all four, I have given you a little bit of clarity as well as reassurance about try and stick. And I have two tips that a friend of mine has given me when I was telling them I was doing this video. And one of them is, if you are really unsure about your yarn, or if you have a yarn that you don't know how much it felts on itself, you can do multiple of these methods combined or adding a layer to another. So like you can hand sewn two lines of columns, two columns, or you can felt the area, try to see how it felts, then machine sew it. And one last tip I got from friends that I have not tried, but I think I will try it if I do another sticking project, which I think I will because it felt great, is you can pick up the stitches for the armhole before you stick your project. For some of these sticking methods, especially the felting, it can result in the stitches being a little more unclear to the eye. Picking up the stitches before is something you can keep in mind. To finish off all my knowledge of sticking for now, I believe there are many other things I have not mentioned, but what should I do with the sticked part that's on the inside of my sweater? Well, I watched some videos about it, and most of them stick the center of a cardigan, which is a super smart and convenient place for sticking. And so the sticked part, they then pick up the stitches on other side and they do a button band, and they just, as the folded collar for this, they knit a long ribbed piece that they fold over, and inside the folder button band or collar in this case, there's the sticked part. So one of the methods everybody talks about, because it's the easier, it's just leave them there and they will eventually felt on themselves while wearing it. And that's convenient. Another method is to close it off under a ribbon. So if you have like a ribbon or a tape, you can use it to cover up your stick like so, and then you can either hand sew it or machine sew it on both sides, and the stick is gonna be secured and flat under the ribbon. And the last method, some people sew it on the side, the inner or the outer, as you prefer. As for me, I personally think I won't do anything, because since I am trying sticking and I tried all of the different techniques, I wanna try to block it and wear it and see if it felts, how it felts, and if it unravels, how it unravels. I will eventually post some updates on the Ravelry page for this project. But yeah, sticking was incredibly convenient. I didn't think it was a beginner-friendly technique, but now I kinda do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new here and you wanna see any of my other videos, I make tons more about fiber arts and journaling and travels and yarn crawls. And if you're trying to stick, the best of luck. Don't be afraid. I know you can do it. And yeah, see you in another video. Bye! They are lovers.